The idea of family in today's world is varied and complex, reflecting changes in society, culture, and the economy. Let's explore some key aspects that help define what family really means. Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of The Moment Show with Pastor Funke. The show where you learn something new every time. Awesome. Welcome, everyone at home, and welcome to all my guests in the studio today. How are you guys doing? You look lovely. You're all doing great, and I'm so happy to have you, as I am indeed our audiences at home. Now, in the Bible, family is typically seen as a father, a mother, and their children all growing and living together. This is often seen as a reflection of the eternal nature of God's kingdom. In today's world of changing gender norms, evolving the family dynamics, and shifting relationship structures, the concept of family is open to a wide range of interpretations. One such interpretation is a redefinition of what constitutes a family. Some people define family as anything you can imagine or want it to be. For example, it could be a traditional setup of male, female with children, or it could be male, female with pets, or even same-sex couple with children or pets. The possibilities are endless when it comes to defining what makes a family. We'll be discussing what is a family in today's world. And to discuss this topic with me is Mrs. Beatrice Anachuna. She's a lawyer, writer, certified family life practitioner, and advocate, a mediator and counselor. She's also a trustee and the project coordinator of Family Rebuilders Outreach. Known as B, she strongly believes that a family that's healthy is the foundation of a thriving society. She's a mother of 5 children and auntie to many children globally. Studio audience, please join me to welcome my guests, Mrs. Beatrice Anachuna. Welcome. Welcome to the show. And thank you for coming, Beatrice.
My pleasure.
Oh, thank you. You look very beautiful, very elegant, and we're glad to have you. So, Beatrice, look, family in today's world is looking very different from the families in the 60s, 70s, when I was a young child and growing up. The days of All in the Family and all these wonderful shows that we used to see in those days. Now, family is now different. So what I want to first ask you is, how did we get here that now family can be anything that anybody wants to define it as?
Liberalism.
Liberalism.
That's how we got here.
Hmm.
The continuous quest for inclusion, diversity. We all want to get out of the box and do something different. It's something in man. The economists will say that the desires of man are insatiable. So man is always longing for something different. So the old norm can no longer satisfy human beings. So they are looking for something different to give them pleasure. Insatiable pleasure.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me. So would you say, Beatrice, that the inclusion of women, because you and I are women, right? And we've got many women in the audience this morning. The inclusion of women in the the workplace, right? In the marketplace, and as women have risen up, would you say that that's one of the contributory factors to, in some ways, the breakdown of family?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without digressing to the faith aspect of it, women are so much engrossed in pursuing careers and furthering their own objectives as women. Now, when we look at it from the faith angle, there's a part of the Bible that says that Lot chose for himself. In today's world, we have women choosing for themselves careers, businesses, politics, and in so doing, by doing that, there is a lacuna. Who fills the traditional roles of the mothers? So we have house helps who are gotten for us by agents we do not know, who come bearing all sorts of ideologies and spirits to help us train the children that God has given us. So women are part of the problem. Indeed.
All right now. And let me tell you, I'm 100% with you in the fact that we've got other people raising children. Now, it happens that this month, and we just celebrated the International Women's Day just a couple of few days ago, really. And this month, in this part of the world, is also Mother's Day, right? So, as women, we're proud to be women, and we're proud of all the rights, by the way, that we have as women: right to vote, right to work, right to determine things about ourselves. But should that stop us from fulfilling our traditional roles? And how can a woman that's a liberated woman, a working woman, still continue to be a woman both in the home and in the marketplace?
We say that balance is a myth. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
But I believe in what I would call due diligence, based on my line of practice in legal practice. If you want to go buy a land now, you would first of all take steps to go to Aegis to do due diligence on the land you want to buy.
So if you're wise anyway, you don't want to be scammed.
Absolutely. So if you're going to pursue your dreams and aspirations as a woman, which I propagate, I am actually a tireless advocate for gender equality.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to pursue your rights, your career as a woman, could you please do the society, your children, your family, people that are connected to you, the due diligence of making sure that there is somebody fit and proper to stand in the gap for you while you are working.
Absolutely. Yes. The emphasis on fit and proper. Fit and proper. Not everybody is fit to raise your child. Nice. What should women do when they have such demanding roles in the marketplace to ensure, apart from just the due diligence, what else would you say because you're both a career woman and a woman in public service as well, in ministry, helping people?
You've already spoken about one of it, quality network. If you have a group of women who are like-minded, who you know are genuine, reasonable, that you can leave your children in their care, you can take turns to say, oh, I pick today. Oh, tomorrow I'll be in a meeting. You cover up for me. Yes. Collaboration, even in family building, it would help. And families that you know that they share common values with you, because every family has their own vision, their own values. Top notch on the list of my family values is honesty. No matter what you do, no matter what you tell people outside, once you're inside this house, tell us exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Then allow us to go out there and know what we're doing.
Right.
So honesty must be key. That's number one family value in my home. I have to make it into a plug and paste it.
You said it, honesty. Like when you come in here, this is honest zone.
Honest zone. Then two, excellence.
Yes.
If you're tired of doing the dishes, go and sleep. Yeah. But if you must do the dishes, do it well.
Yeah.
Do it well.
Yeah.
So make sure you find women and families that share common goals and values with you, so they don't teach your children what you wouldn't want them to learn.
Absolutely.
Collaboration with other women would help.
Yeah.
And then it takes money. It's costly.
Yeah.
Good care, quality childcare is expensive.
Absolutely.
So you wouldn't want to employ a help that you pay 30,000 and expect to get the best out of them.
Come on, say that again.
It won't work.
Say that again.
You wouldn't want to employ a help that you pay 30,000 and get the best out of such a help.
Yeah.
It won't work. So quality help, there are so many nanny training agencies in Nigeria. I dare and boldly ask, how many mothers have taken their nannies there? In the situation where there is a gas leakage, does the help know what to do? In a situation where the child falls down, does the help know how to administer first aid? Has she been trained?
Yeah.
Quality help is expensive. So these are things that women need to put in place so that they can be able to go out there without fear and pursue their goals.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow, wow, wow. I'll ask this question. There's another one that's on my mind to ask you. How important is it for the man a woman marries to support her in her both her quest for success in the marketplace and success at home? And what should single women look out for?
This is a Pandora box. It would
I
end if
opened
you
it.
opened it.
But I only have 1 minute for you to answer
Oh
it.
man, it's very important. Very important. The man you marry can make or mar you. You can be ambitious. You can be pursuing a lot of things. You can even be a first class graduate. But then when you make the mistake of marrying the wrong man, you would go down the drain. Why? Because there's something called brain sleep. Your brain would just start adjusting to the fact that it is no longer capable of doing certain things that would have just been a breeze for you ordinarily. So you must be intentional about picking the man you marry.
I say, would you, and that's another question I wanted to ask you when we come back is, should some mothers who are able to financially stay and care for their children when they are certain age? So on that question, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back to continue our very, very interesting discussion. Back in a moment. All right, welcome back to the Moment Studio and the Moment Show with Pastor Funke. So if you're just joining us, I have in the studio with me Mrs. Beatrice Anachuna, and she is a family expert. And we've been discussing the subject of family. So before we took the break, I was asking that if a woman and a husband can afford it, is it advisable for them to, maybe allow her to stay at home at some ages when the children and sacrifice that part of her career?
Yes. Yes, it is advisable. Personally, I did it. I'm a lawyer with 12 years post-call experience. While I started, it was very good, very thriving. I loved the litigation part of law. But then, as I had my second daughter, I realized that this isn't possible. So this is what I wrote a short article about it, the platitudes of motherhood, the power breaks that come with it. So I had to take a break.
Yeah.
Take a break from active legal practice to raise my children.
Yeah.
At that early age, that very core formative stage, they
Yeah.
need you.
Absolutely.
They need you more than the crutch.
Yeah.
So if you can afford it, if you can do without it, by all means, please do for the wellness of the child.
Yes.
That first 3 years of life, please, if you can, give it up for the child. Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, yes, sacrifice. And I agree. Now, I didn't do that, but God blessed me with a very robust, network. But I must say that in some years, I paid a huge cost to pursue a career. Now, the very quickest, because I want to deviate this back into a different line of questioning, but I wanted to ask this last question. As a woman that left and made that sacrifice, did it hurt you when you eventually went back? Because that would be the fear of many people, is if I take this time off, I may not be able to get back, and those women or men that I left school with and got into the marketplace with, they would have gone ahead of me. Did it hurt you?
Yes, it did. It's a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice.
It wants to be a sacrifice if you don't
if
lose
it doesn't
anything.
hurt. Absolutely.
So it hurt me, but I was too dogged to let it overshadow me.
Absolutely.
So I rose up and I doubled my efforts.
Yeah.
Now I know that I'm working on 2 fields.
And
family field.
And you also have the benefits of having very, very well-developed children.
Yes.
And that's the best reward you can have.
You can't quantify it.
Absolutely.
The joy of seeing them grow mentally okay.
Yes.
Psychologically, they are robust.
Yes.
Academically, they are thriving.
Yes.
What more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for? Yeah, absolutely. Loud it. Okay. We could say much more about this, but I do want to change our direction a little bit, back to the old issue of the breakdown of family. Now, just 2 weeks or so ago, the late Gene Hackman, who was an award-winning actor, very well-known figure, and I'm sure someone of great means, passed away. We heard in the news with his wife. He lived well, and he lived to a good old age, I think 95 or 96, and his wife was 61. But when they were discovered by neighbors after many days of having died. The news of recently, just yesterday, I was reading that, that hearing in the news that she had to have passed first, and she was the primary caregiver, and he had dementia, and they had 3 dogs. But it occurred to me that why did they find them so late? What about children? And what about, friends, people who cared about that? She was much younger than him by 30-something years, apparently. Now, how do we get into a situation where a family like that, husband and wife had only pets, what's it now in the people of today's age, especially young people, that says, young women, because this is Women's Month, so to speak, and not marrying. They want to have children. So how are we getting here? And what are the dangers to that new trend of being baby mama, right? And no husband, no real family. And we're now redefining family as could be mother and children, when it's not like there was divorce or even a marriage in the first place.
So my take on that, being that we see a lot of it in the society now, is can we have more advocates of happy marriages? So we have so many bad news. They are scared.
Yes.
If I were not to be married now, I would be scared as well. So, but when the society even see the people that are showcasing their good marriages, they threw all sorts of insults at them.
Yes.
Now only you? Is it only you?
Ah.
But then we are not fighting. The people on the other side are propagating what they want the world to see. It's okay to be baby and mama alone. It's okay to be a woman would call herself, I am king, with her son.
Wow.
So we have things like that on social media. How about we promote happy marriages so that they can see it and they can buy into it and they can get married and live happily ever after?
Yeah. Yes. There are good examples of happy homes, and people that have been, there's no marriage without challenge. It's just like there is no life without challenge. So what would you say to the people that are not married now, or even those who are in marriages but they're saying, I want out? What would you say to them?
If you can work on it, work on it. If it's going to take your life or take your sanity, seek help outside. If you're in it and you can fix it, please stay and fix it. You fixing it for the family is fixing it for the nation. Because broken kids lead to broken societies.
Yeah.
So if there's something you can do to fix it, by all means, please fix it. But not at the detriment of your life in case of abuse.
Yeah.
Please step outside and try to get help. Then if you're single and you're scared of marriage, like every other thing, there will be challenges, ups and downs. But this is a commitment. Times would be more than the ugly sides.
Yeah.
And that you will soldier on, and that yours will be an example. And it wouldn't be in the statistics of the ones that would scare people who are not married yet.
Yes.
That's what I have to say.
Yes. Stick to it. Look, like everything, there is nothing that doesn't have its challenges. Marriage has challenges, but so is being single. Being single has its bad sides too.
Sure.
There is the loneliness. There is the not having somebody that you can confide in and call your own. So there are challenges on both sides. What we need to do is to stay with it. And if you're not married yet, make sure that you're making the very best choice for yourself. And don't ignore the red flags. Time is over. What did happen to time? But it's been wonderful to have you on the show. Audience, have you been there? Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, and please come back soon again to the Moment Show with Pastor Funke.
It was a beautiful time.
Yes, thank you. We had a lovely time and we learned a lot from you. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going straight to the Ask segment where I get to take a question from those of you at home and those in the audience. We'll be back in just a moment. All right. Thank you so very much, audience. Now, we're back, and we have a few questions in the studio today. I'm going to take one that's been sent in, and it basically says that why are gospel musicians bargaining for money in return for the gospel? I think we've had a few wonderful, seasoned worshipers and music ministers come, and I think they've all basically agreed that, for example, those ones basically said they don't bargain, right? But I think the issue is that some pastors themselves, some of us pastors, have not dealt with them well. That's my understanding from what they said when they came. They'll bring them in, they'll come with their whole band or team, they'll travel, and then some of the pastors basically would say, God bless you, and go home in peace. Well, they have to then pay their musicians and all of that. So I think that's part of why we got, into this place where they don't then have trust. So it's a trust issue for so many of them. Some of them, other things, but we won't get into that. All right. We have another question from the studio. So from the audience, let's go straight ahead.
I have two questions actually, and it's centered around family. The first one is an advice. I need an advice from you. I have a friend. Before she got married, it took us a long time to get a job, and eventually she got the job. And because of the marriage, she had to leave the job because she moved to a different location, and then she had a child. A few months, I think the child was just 2 months or 3 months. Another job came, which was a good one, but now she's struggling. She's struggling. It took us 5 to 6 years to get that first job she left, and now she has a child and a job, and she has to introduce the child to daycare at a very early age.
Yeah.
So most times she drops the child at 7 a.m. and picks her up at 5 p.m. in the night, in the evening. And recently she reached out to me like she's tired. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know if she should leave the job. And her husband is working, but the money or the salary might not be able to take care of the family, the child and her husband. Yeah. And of course, there are other people also that are depending on them. Yeah. So she's like, what can I do?
Okay.
And I don't know.
Let me take that one. What it is she has to make a choice. And I know for a number of women, and myself included, there is a sense of guilt that comes with leaving your child. I was posted out of the country. I was alone with a 1.5-year child, a 1.5-year-old son who, I'll pick up from school at 6 and I'm going back to the office and we'll be there till 10:30 sometimes, alone in a very big building where literally thousands of people working, right? But it was a sacrifice, right? I think that if they can afford it, she should leave the job. There is nothing you can equate to having a child that doesn't have mental issues. There is no price. In fact, when I eventually asked my, very large, one of the largest oil companies in the world, when I eventually spoke to them and said, I need to be back in Nigeria, everybody thought I was crazy, right? But my boss said something to me. He said, Sharon, you are an exceptional woman and you can easily go to the top of this organization. But if you become the chairman of this organization and you have a child that has emotional, mental issues, he said, all your success will not be able to pay for the damage you've done to your son. And I left that child and I came and took a job that was at least 2 levels below mine. That was a sacrifice. And that's the same sacrifice she would have to make if they can afford it. If they can't, then she just has to maybe leave that one and look for something else that can bring a little bit of money in while still helping our code. The biggest responsibility you have as a parent is to be a good parent to your child. You're doing God's work. All right, so we are out of time. It's incredible how time goes in this show, but because it's so wonderful, it's inspiring, it's touching real lives. Okay, so we want thank you for joining us on this show again. And next week we'll be back by God's grace with another exciting and inspiring and knowledgeable show for you.